Namaskar. Myself Dr. Priyanka Verma, working as a professor with Purnima University. Before I start my presentation, I would like to thank the organizers for giving me this opportunity to deliver this keynote address. During my session, I am going to talk about the UN Sustainable Development Goals, their importance, and the progress which has been made towards achieving them, specifically focusing upon India's journey towards sustainable development. Now, what are SDGs? SDGs are basically 17 interconnected goals which have been set up by UN, and they focus on challenges like poverty, hunger, inequality, climate change, and peace. Now, why they have been set up is because UN wants that all developed and developing countries should strive together to create a more sustainable and equitable world. The deadline that has been given by UN to achieve these SDGs is 2030. Now, this 2030 agenda basically talks about all the strategies that we need to develop to ensure the sustainable development. Now, these strategies they focus on five P's. First P is people. So, for people, we need to end poverty and hunger in all its forms and dimensions. Second is planet, that is, we need to protect the planet from any sort of degradation. Third is prosperity. So, prosperity basically means that all the human beings can enjoy a prosperous and fulfilling life. Fourth P is peace, that is to create a peaceful and inclusive society which is free from any sort of violence. And last and the most important P is partnership. So partnership basically means that the society, the public organizations, the private organizations, they are going to work together to achieve these five P's, or in other words, to achieve the SDGs. Now, why are these SDGs important? First point is that we are targeting prosperity for all. That is, we are targeting a sustainable growth where no one is going to be left behind. Second, we are focusing on environmental sustainability, that is, we are protecting our planet and we are preserving our natural resources. And third, if you remember, in the last slide we had discussed about people. So when we talk about people, that means we are focusing on equal rights for all. So irrespective of their gender, race, or background, the equality is going to be there. The opportunities are also going to be same for everyone. Next is how it is being globally implemented. So UN has basically established a framework for monitoring the progress. So it keeps on tracking that how far the developed and developing nations they have reached in implementing those SDGs. Second is it keeps on sharing new developmental plans and policies to implement these SDGs, and the international organizations, the NGOs and businesses, they are basically collaborating together to support this SDG implementation. So the fifth P, which is partnership, is basically being achieved where all the international organizations, the NGOs and businesses, they collaborate together to support the SDG implementation. Now, how far India has reached in implementing these SDGs? So the first point is population. India is the home to second largest population. So the population of India is 1.5 million, which is again an alarming factor. If we talk about poverty, yes, we have progress. So in the past decade, if we compare, the poverty rate has reduced. Then the renewable energy resources consumption is also increasing. So people are now becoming more aware about the renewable energy resources. So now people know that implementation of solar panels has also become very easy. The organizations, the schools, the colleges, they are implementing the solar panels. So There has been a 20% increase in the renewable energy consumption resources. Now, what are the challenges? So, since we are talking about the implementation of SDG in India, there are a few challenges that we are facing. First is poverty and inequality. So, the rural areas, their poverty and inequality is quite common because it is like the government has not been able to reach those areas, so they are suffering with poverty, they are suffering with inequality, so that's one challenge. Second challenge is climate change. So climate change, we all are aware about it, global warming. This year we had such strong summers, we had such strong rains, and even winters came very late. So yes, climate change is posing a threat to the India's economy. And then the last and the most important concern is that there are a few people who have limited access to education, healthcare, and clean water. So there are a few regions, specifically if we talk about rural areas only, they have limited access to education, healthcare, and clean water. Now, what are the strategies for accelerating this SDG implementation? So, if we have to ensure that the SDGs are being implemented properly, so first is we have to increase the investment. That is, we have to encourage both public and private investments for sustainable development. We have to ensure that the current technology is able to address and it is able to promote the sustainable solution. That is, it should be able to give the solutions to address the problems and partnerships. From the beginning itself, we have been focusing on partnerships because sustainable development is not possible alone. We need to develop strong partnerships between governments, between businesses, the civil societies. All of us have to work together to ensure that the SDGs are being implemented. Now, the last point is how stakeholders are useful in achieving these SDGs. So, if we work together, that is, if each individual, the organization, and the government they work together, so then these SDGs can definitely be implemented. If I talk about India only, all of us know about Viksit Bharat at the rate of 2047. So yes, we are planning that by 2047, Viksit Bharat is going to be there. But for that, we have to make sure that these SDGs are being implemented. Poverty is ended, hunger is being worked upon, equal justice for all is being worked upon. So together we can and together we will. So that is where I conclude my presentation. Thank you once again.